It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. You know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 416. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Just kidding. We fixed it.
Whoops-a-doodle. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can't even blame it on the alcohol. I was sober.
Yeah, you don't do a lot of drinking at Disney World.
Nah, it's
I
more
mean,
of
not
a-
that it can't be done, Cody. But
a lot of people have no idea what we're talking about. When he did,
it's the Clip Out. People know what we're talking about.
yeah, it was. That's more of a cruise thing for us.
Yeah. Or Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico, definitely.
And I guess we'll explain over on the Patreon. We won't bore you here, but we'll explain over the Patreon
What
happened
Yeah.
and why we didn't realize until we were done.
Yes.
And then we were just like, screw it.
Yeah, that was the general consensus.
So, but we are back.
Yay.
You got a little sick on the...
I did. I brought home a little summer cold. I don't feel terrible, but just trying to get caught up at work and keep on top of everything. So I am definitely tired. So
Yeah.
my energy is a little low. I'm trying here.
So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, we are going to talk about all of the things that Peter Stern has laid out that Peloton is going to be working on. He visited with Bloomberg this week, so we have some updates from him. We also are going to talk about the programs. We talked some about the changes last week, but what else that is going to mean and when that timeline is going to be out there. In addition to that, we also are going to talk about Hyatt and their expansion with Peloton. We have a ton of summer studio updates and closures. So we're going to discuss all of that. Also, instructors in the news. We're going to talk about the latest instructor to be in a magazine. We are going to talk about Tunde and how and where you can vote and for how long, because this is important. Also, who was the latest instructor to be featured in Women's Health? So obviously female. Not obviously, I guess.
No, I mean, I think...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway. And then who spoke recently at the World Eating Disorders Action Day? We have artist series to discover... We have artist series to discuss, and we also are going to talk about some competitor news. We have a very sad past guest update.
Yeah.
We also have some content. There's a bunch of new stuff hitting the airwaves at Peloton, plus we have your favorite TCO top 5 and birthdays. I think that's it.
Okay, well, before we get to that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you are there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. You can also, if you want to support the show monetarily, you can do that over on Patreon. You get things for that.
You do.
Like explanations as to what happened last week. You also get ad-free episodes, and you get bonus content, tons and tons of bonus content, unless we're on vacation.
What bonus content are we adding this week,
So
Tom?
this week, we're going to talk about the age-old question, cardio before strength or strength before cardio.
It is an age-old question.
Science has chimed in,
I'll be the judge of
and
that.
we all know how America loves science.
No comment?
So we will reveal the answer to that. We have the effects of exercise on cancer survivors.
This is a fascinating article.
Yeah.
Super fascinating.
We have a study about how night owls are more likely to suffer dementia.
What?
But there's a twist.
Okay.
We will get to the twist on the Patreon. And of course, there are all sorts of instructor updates that we don't have time to get to in this episode. So that'll be all over on the Patreon. And of course, as always, if we get the episode early, you get it early, but we do get it early because Crystal does it now. And so you're getting them really early on like Thursday morning. So That's all for $5 a month.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's it.
So also, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Don't forget you can sign up for the newsletter at theclipout.com, which goes out mostly weekly. I'm just remembering it did not go out last week.
Whoopsers.
Because we were at Disney. And then, of course, you can watch all of these over on YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout, except for last week where we didn't have video. And my mic sounded like this.
I did put a static image with it.
It's just static.
Yeah. No.
It's just white
An
noise.
image that did not change.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I think
Gotcha.
you knew exactly what I meant.
Was it like us with Mickey Mouse?
No, that would have been cuter. I just did
Us
one
on
of
the
our-
Tron cycle?
No, I just did a random headshot video or picture because I was trying to find something very fast that
Yes.
was already in my downloads.
I get it.
That's what I
Yeah.
did.
So anyway, there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
So the new CEO of Peloton, Peter Stern. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember his name.
I know. There's been so many.
I know. I can't keep track of them. Did a lengthy interview with Bloomberg.
Well, he was actually on stage. It was
Oh.
Bloomberg Tech Summit in San Francisco.
Gotcha.
And so he was there.
Oh,
So he was speaking.
fancy.
Yeah.
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 That's interesting because a tech summit seems like that would be like a big deal and something that's been planned for a long time, but he has not been CEO for a long time.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they didn't say somebody from Peloton was attending.
Right.
They just put a placeholder in.
But I would also think Bloomberg would be like, no, we need a big wig.
Yeah, but they probably, if they didn't put down who it was, it would have, or if they had to put somebody, it probably would have been the interim CEOs
Yeah.
that they had.
Yeah, I just...
Yeah, it is an interesting thought. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's as. I don't think it's.
I was just wondering, like, what the scheduling of that would be like, because they like to know that stuff further in advance. One would think, but anyway, he said things. Tell us what he said.
Okay, so we're just going to focus on the high important things, the high level important
Yes.
things. The first point that I thought was interesting. So first of all, this whole conversation had a lot about. The theme was innovation, specifically where Peloton is concerned.
Okay.
So they talked a lot about connected fitness is the future, and it's not going to be, number one, just the bikes, and number two, not just hardware. That Peloton is going past hardware, and they're looking at it as they're going to become a truly connected fitness platform.
They're going to put a chip in your brain.
Yes, you will literally be connected. But also, and I think this is more important, it's going to be anchored in an AI-driven world where your workout experiences are more personalized. Now, that has been the agenda since Barry.
Right.
Barry has said that since day one. So I don't really think that's anything amazingly new, except for potentially using AI to double down on that. I don't know if that is or not. Now, Stern, he specifically said that the artificial intelligence is what's going to help the platform adapt to each user's fitness level, their goals, and their evolving needs over time, which will be interesting. And I feel like if you take somebody like me, and there's a lot of people like this in the Peloton world, where I started off as like bike, and then I transitioned over into running, and now I'm very much in a strength place. So in my mind, if Peloton wants to wow me, they need to be able to keep up with that.
Right.
They need to be able to say, well, you're in a strength phase right now, so we're going to put your focus there. But next year, if you move back to running or whatever, we're going to follow you, and we're going to have a plan for that too.
I wonder how AI will work in that regard, because I feel like AI is going to be really good at serving you things you've already been served. And so how will it know, or will it ultimately prevent you from evolving because it's so focused on taking information you fed in the past, which is Crystal loves the bike?
It should. So if they set up their information correctly, where AI is right now is that you teach it things. And so you should, in theory, be able to say, take what this person's been doing, but have this learning curve, this available. I mean, I know I'm making that sound real simple.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not. But there should be engines that you're explaining to it what you want to do. So if it's a person like me and, I was doing a ton of running classes last year, I should get served, why aren't you running? I
Right.
should get served that question. Like
Yeah.
somebody somewhere should be asking me that. Like, have you changed your goals? What
Right.
are your goals?
Did we do something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that should happen there. But regardless, that's the big emphasis. It's going to be AI, and that is what's going to help each person have AI adapt to that. And they should have very specific personalized information served to them. And then the other thing is data integration. And so Peloton is enhancing their ecosystem, and they have been for some time, with Google Fitbit, Garmin, and Apple Health. Garmin is new. That hasn't worked well in the past. But apparently that's one of the things that they are looking to add an integration for, or it's done. And that should allow for more detailed tracking across those different platforms of heart rate and workout intensity, even if you don't have a wearable, right? Because
Right.
you should, like, if you always did this and now you don't have it today, we're still going to have a pretty good idea of where you are.
Right.
And then the other thing is that more partnerships have popped up over the last year with Peloton. So Hilton, Hyatt, they're working with more commercial gyms, and Peloton is expanding beyond the home, and they are planning to lean on Precor to do that and expand its presence in gyms. And so they had that experiment that they did with, I am blanking on the name of the gym this year, but it was like
LA Fitness.
That's the one. I was like, California Fitness.
I listened to the clip out.
Oh,
so
good.
I know
I'm glad
these
you
things.
do. So they're going to be doing more of that as well. That's good. I also have noticed, as a side note, that some of their marketing seems to be showing more people getting out of their home. Like, it's like beyond the basement type of marketing. Some of the tipsters have pointed that out to me, and I find that
Like
interesting.
the commercial they just had where the guy in the breakup, you see him running in the street
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
But they're trying to get across to people, you don't have to have Peloton equipment to be able to use the app. And so you have to train, you have to educate people,
Right.
and you have to do it in a very short time frame.
For a lot of people, Peloton still means bike.
It absolutely does. And so, yes, that is part of this. And being able to expand their presence in these gyms will be critical to that education, because you're going to have all these people be able to try it without having it in their home. So that's great. And yes, it'll be for the equipment, but it will show them they have access to all these other things. And then, of course, we talked about last week the Repowered launch. That was a big thing. Stern is saying that the secondhand marketplace is going to be designed as a safer, more premium alternative to peer-to-peer platforms. So I think that is definitely a good thing. I definitely think people selling will get a premium for that. Like, their experience will be at a premium for doing that.
Yeah.
I personally, if I was going to sell it, would much rather use Peloton's secondhand marketplace than throw it up on Facebook Marketplace and deal with crazy people coming to my house.
Or if I was buying one,
Absolutely.
even if it's a little bit more, I'd be like, well, I have the safety of knowing if something goes wrong, like,
the word Peloton is behind it. Like, that's
there's someone I can go complain to, where if you get it home and it's just a guy off the internet, he's just never going to talk to you
yeah,
again.
you don't know what you're going to get.
It'd be like dating.
But on the flip side of that, I will also say their customer service is still a really big problem. I mean, the stuff that I am seeing daily that comes
Yeah.
out of their mouth at customer service or out of their chat is insane.
But on the flip side of that, like, every company has a version
Absolutely.
of that.
So true.
Like, I just dealt with it the other day with Allstate.
You did.
Right? And
Please
so-
don't go down that rabbit
No,
hole.
I won't. But the fact remains that, but somewhere there's a corporation that you can at least get to eventually say,
Yeah.
hey, listen to me.
Otherwise, it's just you're going to end up on Judge Judy because it's small claims, right?
Right.
Like, it's he said, she said. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to pin that. I totally get your point, and I agree with that. The last thing that Peloton noted, or Stern noted, is that he reiterated, I thought this was interesting, Peloton is on track to remain a standalone public company focused on sustainable long-term growth. He said the same thing Barry said while he was CEO. We're not going to sell.
we're not looking to be part of someone else's portfolio.
Nope, don't want to sell, and apparently still don't want to buy Tonal. But
Well, they still don't have the money.
I know. But that's that.
Man, Peloton and Tonal,
I know.
that would be pretty awesome.
It'd be beautiful.
The only downside is then I would finally be using Peloton. the end of an era.
It would be. We'd have to send a little video to John Foley.
And to Ali?
Yes, Ali.
Yeah, from Tonal.
Yes.
So, moving along, programs are going to experience some disruptions in the short term.
Yeah, we talked about last week that smart TVs and apps are on June 12th. They're going to no longer be able to be used in the way that they were. Programs only, not programming.
Right.
Programs, Peloton programs. So, in addition to that, Peloton's like, as we're going to be rolling out a new experience for programs. And as we roll out that new experience, you're going to have, if you're already in the middle of a program, you're going to see your stats go away for about 24 hours. It's going to look like it's not right.
Eek.
There was a lot of that. I think, and I'm becoming more convinced of this every day, we'll see tomorrow that, because it starts tomorrow's June 12th. I think they are going to re-roll out programs and you're going to be able to finally get to the classes. So you don't have to use the janky workaround where you're like, hey, friend, I know you've already taken this class, so give me your link so I can get to this class. Because it's so janky.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is going to happen. But we shall see what happens. In the meantime, this has already been rolling out. Some people have already experienced this issue. Some people, it's already been, they experienced it and it resolved. So it's a rolling update.
Right. So you mentioned earlier in the episode about Hyatt. And so Hyatt is expanding their Peloton promotion into Latin America.
They are.
I find this fascinating.
Why do you find that fascinating?
Because to the best of my knowledge, unless there's something that we've talked about and I've forgotten, right? Like, they don't sell Pelotons in Latin America, right?
They don't.
And so, and the thought process, at least in my head, had always been it was a music licensing issue, right? That they haven't licensed the music to play in those areas, and that's why you see,
It's way more than that. It's way more complicated. I think that's just the way your brain, because you're pop culture, so I think that's just the way your brain separates it. But like, it's also, you can't just ship there. You have to have all these distribution agreements. You have to be set up to pay a certain amount of taxes. There's like a million things that go into setting up a new country, not to mention marketing and storefronts and blah, 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 blah. So I don't think it's that simple. But I also think that we all know that at least some people will get it shipped anywhere and then they'll take it back to their house.
There's no way to brick it so like it won't work.
Hashtag Hong Kong Hustler has been around for years and was in Hong Kong with one for years, like 2016.
Yeah.
And
so it's not like if you take your Peloton and plug it in Sweden, it's not going to work, but that they weren't allowed to sell them there because they hadn't paid for the music licensing. So I just think it's interesting that they don't have music licensing issues in Central America.
That doesn't mean they don't have issues.
We're going to get a whole new round of lawsuits.
No, I don't. I don't think it's that cut and dry because this is my. I wish Gail were here right now. Here's my thought. If Hyatt is an American company,
right,
and they have their contract and music licensing through them, then maybe it's not as cut and dry. And also, the other thing is that when they are set up in gyms, they have to go through a process. Peloton goes through a process with a gym when they set it up, and they have to go through a bunch of things that they fill out. And one of those is the music licensing. So I don't know that you saying they don't have issues. I just think there might be a workaround.
Right.
Like maybe it's not as cut and dry. It depends on where the contract is written, and music licensing is so complicated.
It is,
and
for sure.
So I don't know the particulars of it. I thought it was just interesting because Peloton is saying they want to keep growing, and what they want to do is kind of expand outside of countries where they currently are, but in neighbor countries. So my question then becomes, are they just focusing on Latin America specifically because they already have so much Spanish content,
right?
And it's like there's some way they can get around it, specifically Hyatt or other these other, Hilton, that was the other company, because they have a U.S. component. That they're not just like, we are now selling bikes in Latin America. It's not that simple.
Yeah, all I know is that like when we go to Mexico, if I log into Netflix, we get like 3 shows.
That's true. That is a great point.
And so,
That's a great point.
I don't know. I find it interesting. Like it makes
I
me.
hope you're wrong, and we're not going to find another whole round of lawsuits.
It made me wonder if like they've worked that angle out, and we're about to see more countries be allowed to sell Pelotons.
It would be interesting. I think it's a great question. I think it's a great thing to bring up. A good call out, as they would say at my new company.
Oh, okay.
And we will see.
So let's take a look at summer studio updates.
Okay, so some important things to note. I think I'm just gonna tackle this and the next topic maybe all in one.
Summer studio. Let's take a look at summer studio updates and closures.
Right, because the updates that are occurring at the studio are
because of the closures.
They're making the closures. They are creating the closures, okay? And they're not cut and dry. Like this is really weird. It's rolling. It's a smart way to do it, but it's a difficult way to memorize it.
Right.
For instance, July 10th through 3rd, PSNY is closed. There are no live classes, period. But July 14th through August 2nd, they're not closed, but there's no live cycling classes.
Okay.
And then July 18th through August 4th, no live tread classes. So it's like a rolling change.
Right.
And then August 5th through the 23rd, there will be no live strength or row classes. And then on August 8th through 25th, no live yoga, meditation, bar, or Pilates. So as you can see, that's very confusing. I highly recommend you just look at our updates and the article that we have, because that's a lot of different dates to memorize.
For sure.
But I wanted you guys to know that. And London will be closed August 11th through the 17th, period. No classes at all. So that's an interesting thing. But then this is crazy, because now the US-based instructors are going to take over London. So Cody, Emma, Robin, Olivia, Bex, Nico, they are all going to London, and they are going to teach classes from the Peloton studios in London.
It's the opposite of a British invasion.
Yeah, it is. And so that's going to be cool, because it'll be 2-for-1 instructor specials. Like, for example, Bex and Susie hosting an outdoor live run. So that'll be awesome for people who live in London or who are visiting London to be able to go and meet these instructors who they wouldn't otherwise have a chance to have access to.
Yeah. It'll be like when Ricky Gervais was on The Office with Steve Carell.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that. Also, starting on June 30th, Peloton is dedicating every single Monday to celebrating different member groups. So they're going to have these special live classes, live events, and social media shout outs. And that's going to be a weekly event. Again, every Monday starting June 30th, except for those days they're closed. Then there won't be.
I hope there aren't any Peloton Garfield groups.
Because he hates Mondays.
Yeah. They're all on Mondays.
And then we've already talked about this, but the 100 Days of Summer Streak, that started on May 26th, so it's happening. And then we have this summer top 10 countdown that's happening. That's going to be in July. And then there's going to be the 2025 countdown in September. And so there's going to be playlists for both of those events across all bike, tread, row, or the mat. So that's a lot.
That's a lot.
I know.
That's a whole lot of updates.
Yeah.
You should write an article about that. You really have to go to the YouTube to watch the face.
Well, Helper B. Elizabeth is all over it, Tom.
Well, thank you, Helper B. Elizabeth.
She already wrote the article and posted it. It'd be nice if you read it sometime, Tom.
Well, I'm not going to the studio.
Oh, I know.
And even if I was, I have you. You'd figured it all out for me. I wouldn't have to worry about it. So I know better than that. That's a waste of my time and energy. So we have some changes to instructor profile images.
Okay, so we've got several changes. Peloton put out this big alert across the platform that said you've got an updated platform, or an updated profile rather.
Okay.
So I had to go check it out. And the first thing that happened is now there's a drop down that you can see on your profile that switches modality. So like, let's say total distance, you want to see, well, you can, mine's on running and walking as default, I think, because that's what I've been mostly doing.
Okay.
Well, I can easily just click a button and it'll flip over to biking, and then I can see that, or I can see rowing, I guess would be the other distance. So that's one thing. Another thing that they did is they did some major changes to the goals. So now you see what your personal goal is set at along the top, and then you have your active days, and then you have daily and weekly streaks right there, all on the same page, and you can quickly see what your current active days this month are versus last month. By the way, all of my stats suck because it's June compared to May, and we were gone for all of June.
They're like, you're a new member.
Yeah, exactly. It looks really awful. Then they have the active time updated, which is where you really see how terrible it is, because the time spent in each modality is totaled right across the screen, and you can toggle really fast between week, month, year, and all time. So mine says that I've walked for 1 hour this month, and I've done meditation for 5 minutes. That's
Okay,
it.
well,
That's all I've got.
You've walked for way more than 1 hour.
I know, but like, I'm not going to turn Peloton on and suck up all my battery the whole time I did that. Like, what a waste that would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll try like 15,000 steps a day. Okay, so then they made some changes to the personalized plan. Now you can change the order of your planned workouts, so you can have a very flexible schedule. So if you don't like the plan they gave you, boop, 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 change it.
No, there's boops.
There are boops. And then if you want to change the goals or your activity preference or the availability you have, easily do that in settings. And then the last change that they made are you can easily mark days as complete and get plan credit for activities that occurred outside of Peloton.
Ooh.
So they've made all of those changes this week.
Will there be more boops?
I don't know about the boops. The other interesting thing about this is, though, so everyone got this notification at the same time, but not everyone got these changes at the same time. Now, I am the first person to say, hey, these changes take hours to roll out to all members. I get that. But explain to me how Nikki got the notification hours before I did, and still today does not have these changes from 3 days ago. I'm worried they didn't make the changes to Android at all, and they sent it out to Android users.
Ooh.
I don't know that that's the case.
Yeah.
I have not confirmed that. I'm worried that is the case.
I'm an Android user. Let me log in and... oh, wait. Yeah.
You could log in. You do have a login.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. We've been over this.
You always say that I do, and I don't...
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Coming up after this, we're going to tackle instructors in the news. OK Magazine, taking their life in their own hands, addresses the pregnancy question mark of Ally Love. So stick around. OK Magazine has tackled the Ally Love pregnancy rumors.
I mean, months after we did, but okay,
Yes,
whatever.
yeah. I'll put the rumors in air quotes.
It is. It's so silly. Yeah. So they're... this whole like article, it's OK Magazine, so it's meant to be tongue in cheek. It's not meant to be taken super seriously. But they did an interview with Emma Lovewell, and they were talking about pregnancy, and Emma Lovewell was talking about how she is excited for more of her colleagues to have kids, and then OK Magazine just kind of wedged in there among rumors that Ally is pregnant.
Right.
I mean, at this point, I don't know why the woman won't just say she's pregnant. It's her decision.
Yeah.
And I know that it's obvious at this point, but like, why is it that you won't just say? It's like the most awkward non-conversation ever. It's months. Like, this has been going, like, I've been having this conversation with people since December. And I'm tired of talking about it. I don't know if anybody else is, but I am. And we've already talked about this in a bonus episode.
Yeah.
But Emma Lovewell made jokes about, they need to have like a daycare center for all these people that have had babies. We will see. But I mean, Allie is pregnant. She just won't say the words, but
Yeah.
everybody knows it. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I'll never get it.
I don't get it either.
And for anybody who feels the need to defend Allie, let me just say, please do not waste your time. Like, I'm not mad about it. Nobody's mad about it. It just is so pointless. And if the idea is that, like, I don't have to talk about my body, well, okay, but you kind of make people talk about it because you're not allowed to say a woman is pregnant until they say they're pregnant. Because what if they just have, like, I don't know, like a tumor? Like, there was a lady I knew that literally had a tumor in her stomach and had a shape like a pregnancy. So, like, would she want people to go up to her and say she was pregnant? No. So you're not allowed to do that. That's very much a faux pas. And so like, if we could address the elephant in the room, it would just make everybody it would make it easier.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to make it easy, so that's her choice. I'm not mad about it. But, like, you don't need to defend it either. So please don't at me.
I totally agree that, like, it's bullshit to speculate about stuff like that because
Yeah.
more often than not, it's just somebody put on a little bit of weight or whatever,
Right.
and it's just like, you're shaming them for no reason.
Exactly.
And it's like, I totally get where this comes from, but, like, now the pendulum has kind of swung the other way to where it's just like, she's crowning and we're not allowed to talk about it.
Exactly. I mean, because for people who are defending her, there was a long time she was literally blocking people for
Yeah.
bringing it up. So she feels some type of way about it. And I think it's fair that people are confused and asking a question. You're on camera every day. People want to know.
Like, at the end of the day, you're a public figure. You got to take the good with the bad.
You do. It's just how it works.
Moving right along to discussing women's bodies.
Oh, yeah.
Tunde
Let's see what other trouble we can get into.
and the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit edition. We have an update. Voting is now open.
It is, and it's going to be open for an entire month. So we have on Instagram, on our profile at Clip Out Crystal, there is a link to go vote for Tunde, and you can vote once a day
Okay.
for the entire month. I also thought it was really nice, like super nice. Like, this just shows what a class act Tunde is. She went on her Instagram live, I think it was live, and she talked about how if you feel that she is the best person for this, vote for her. And if you don't, please don't. Because she didn't want to take away from the other women. And, like, that is how you support other women. It's not all about you, you know? And there's nothing wrong with us all rallying behind our favorite instructors. So don't misunderstand that either. It's just she went out of her way to say, I don't want to win just because you guys know who I am.
Right.
I want to win because you really think that I am the right person. And if I don't, that's okay too.
Don't just turn it into a popularity contest.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yep. I thought that was just a really classy thing to do.
Hannah Corbin is featured in Women's Health.
She is, and I have to say, this is, I believe, it's Austria, and she has a whole article about how she turned autoimmune into auto-amazing.
Okay.
She struggles with Hashimoto's, which we've talked about before on the show. And she in this article talks about her experiences living with Hashimoto's. And she's a pretty private person. So I think that it's one of those rare instances where you get to have a little bit of a peek of what things look like in the background. And I'm sure the timing of her new book, she's probably being asked to do
For sure,
be a little more transparent right now.
Yeah.
And so that's always tough. I think, for a person who's private.
So Mariana Fernandez got to speak at World Eating Disorders Actions Day.
Yes, and this was part of the Mental Health Awareness Month, I believe. I could be wrong, though, because there's so many great things that occur, like, right in a row.
Right.
And this happened 5 days ago, so that would technically be in June. So maybe that's not part of mental health awareness. But anyway, World Eating Disorders Action Day. It is a call to break biases, bringing awareness, taking action towards accessibility to resources and guidance. And so she was part of this panel, and she spoke about athleticism and mental health, which is probably where I got the mental health piece of it.
Sure.
And she also had a really vulnerable dialogue with fellow athletes and had some expertise in there too, of course. And then there were a lot of people involved in this conversation. So I thought this was a really nice thing to highlight Mariana. She's always very open about her struggles with mental health. She calls it the heavies. Like, I think I hear that as depression. You know, she struggles with like a little bit of darkness. And so when she goes through moments like that, it's really tough. And I know she also had some health issues this year she spoke about as well in instances on Instagram. So I really appreciate her transparency about this and her realness. She comes across to me as one of the most authentic instructors that Peloton has. And so hearing from somebody talking about their own experiences in such an authentic manner, I think is so helpful to people struggling. It's like, I can feel what you're going through, and it tells people there's hope, and even on the bad days. And she also doesn't have this like Pollyanna attitude about it. She's very like, some days are going to suck. Right. And that's okay. That's real. That's what people need to hear.
Absolutely. We have a new artist series, which I feel like came out of left field.
It did. It's really weird. Sometimes I just don't understand Peloton and their marketing because there was nothing about this. And it was just like, boop, we're dropping classes. Yeah. And nothing wrong with that. It's just, I don't get why they didn't do their whole artist thing. Like it feels like it means something, but I'll be honest, I have no idea what it means.
So it's Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's because Luther Vandross is no longer with us. And I wonder if he doesn't have as strong of a like promotion team as a currently recording and touring artist. Obviously, he has someone who manages his estate, but you know, he's still a company, if you will. But like, I wonder if it's like not as tightly managed because of that. And so Peloton reached out and they didn't say all the other things that an Interscope Records might know to ask for. Just a theory.
It's an interesting theory. Yeah. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I have no idea. I think that sounds as good of a theory as any. I just, from consistency standpoint, as a company, regardless of that, like, why would Peloton not choose to put the same marketing information out?
It benefits them too.
Precisely. Yeah. So that still confuses me, but I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah. That's for sure. But anyway, gosh, he's got a ton of hits.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like just a ton.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of classes for it, despite the fact that there's no announcement. Right. There's a ton.
That's the other weird thing is like I saw the list and it's just massive.
It is.
How many classes? Like there's been a lot of like major artists who get an artist series and it's like there's 3 classes, and this just goes on for days. That like it really looks like was meant to be this huge high profile thing, and that it just for whatever reason didn't get the push, and I do not understand.
Also, people on Reddit are so mean. The things that they say about these pairings of these instructors with the different artists. Wow. Wow. There's an instructor that's getting a lot of heat, and it's not Robin. So we can talk about that over on the bonus. I'm not doing it here.
Okay.
I don't want to hear about that either. Man.
Just more incentive for you to give us your $5.
Okay. Don't let me forget. Artist series.
So BowFlex has issued a recall of their adjustable dumbbells. Apparently, they're a little bit more adjustable than intended.
Yeah, well, auto adjust, I guess. Yeah, you're using it and all of a sudden it falls apart. Yeah. That's a problem. I actually thought I had these, but I
thought you did too when I saw the picture.
Yeah, they look so similar.
They do.
But I guess mine is Nautilus. Mine is not the BowFlex, so I do not have them. I'm safe.
Phew.
But the BowFlex ones are so expensive. People are saying they are so mad about this recall. Have you seen these comments?
No, I have not.
These people paid $500 and up for these dumbbells. And guess how much they're getting back for a defective dumbbell?
Are they like prorating it? Like you've had it for 5 years and
$60. One said they got 47. Like, what is the point?
Yeah.
And so then another person chimed in and they were like, this is just really shitty marketing and they're just making you go out and buy another $500 set of dumbbells. But you don't have to buy both.
Yeah, there's no way I would turn around and buy a BowFlex. So maybe it's like if you're in their ecosystem, you want it all to match or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yikes.
But yeah, I don't know how they're getting away with that.
I don't either.
Especially because it's not an item that you use up, right?
Like they'll be around forever.
Like I get if you like buy a bag of dog food and you bring back a 25 bag 25-pound bag of dog food with 20 pounds of food gone, that maybe they prorate. But even then, like, it's their screw up. You sold them something that doesn't work.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you bought it from Costco, because they'll take stuff back forever.
Yeah.
Except for electronics.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
So we have a sad past guest update. Allie Feller from Allie on the Run was on episode 221. And I guess we talked recently.
It hasn't been recently. You know what?
How long has it been?
It's been like 3 years.
Wow, has it been that
maybe
long?
2, but it's been a long time.
Okay. But she was battling cancer, and she was in remission, and
Yeah, they had said she was completely clear. She did all the things. She did all the treatment. Maybe it's only been 18 months. My please forgive me. My brain doesn't work as well with the memory as it used to, but I know she had done all the treatment, and it had been several months at least since treatment was over, you know, and she was in the clear.
Right. And now she is done.
Yeah, it's she experienced some pain, and she had to go check and get some questions answered, and it's just heartbreaking. They said that the breast cancer is back, and it has spread to her bones, and it is stage 4. It is a shitty prognosis and a shitty diagnosis, and all I can say is we are just sending all of our love to Allie and her family. What a difficult time. She's such an optimistic person.
Right.
And she's continued to be optimistic. But gosh darn, that is hard to be optimistic in the face of that.
For sure. So our thoughts go out to her.
Absolutely.
And coming up after this, we're going to tackle content and give you some classes that should be on your radar. So stick around. It is time for the TCO Top 5, the scientifically researched best classes on the platform this week. Number 1, your favorite walk. I think mine is by Pantera.
Well, everybody else's favorite walk was the 30-minute Pride Pop Walk with Maddie Giacomo, where Mara showed up.
Oh.
And we had tons of people write in for this one. Mara is pretty darn special, as is Maddie. And Mara had a lot to say. And, I think there's a lot of people in the world that need to hear what Mara has to say right now. But Tammy Armstrong said, this is my favorite quote, that this was her favorite class, hands down, and Mama Mara was looking fierce. So many amazing moments paying homage. If you know, you know, to the community. You have to know Mara, because Mara has this very East Coast accent.
Okay.
And so she'll say things that like, you know what she's saying, but she accentuates the accent.
Gotcha.
And so I think that's what we got with the homage.
I see. Number 2, your favorite post-run stretch.
So Dr. Jen sent this in.
I know her.
Yeah, you sure do. She took a 5-minute post-run stretch that was taught by Andy Spear on April 23rd. She said it's her new favorite. She said, looking at the playlist, you can understand why. 90% of the stretch is Piano Man.
I was going to say, is it Billy Joel?
It sure is. Yeah. Andy also gives some great deep hip stretches in, and he taught a standing pigeon stretch that Dr. Jen didn't even know was a thing. And she said, for someone who's really flexible but gets tight hips from running, it is fabulous.
Okay. Number 3, your favorite row boot camp.
So this was a tag team boot camp that was taught on May 6th by Tunde and Adrian together. And STX Phone Earth, I don't know what this leaderboard is. I'm sure this is how instructors feel.
Right.
But I'm sure it's very clever, and I'm dumb for not getting it. Regardless, they said this was not a super tough workout.
Okay.
But it was very fun, and now they firmly believe Adrian and Tunde are the next Peloton couple.
Okay.
So we're spreading rumors.
Yeah.
Spreading rumors.
That's a bold statement.
I know.
Number 4, your favorite scenic run.
Don Rudy nominated this, and it was a 30-minute scenic run that was from Toulouse, France. Now, this is only available on the Tread or the Tread Plus. You can't get this through the app. So
Okay.
We didn't bother including the link for that reason. But Don is currently doing physical therapy for his hamstring and his calf. So he had to find a class where he could do a 3-minute jog and then follow that by a 1-minute walk. And he had to repeat it. He said this was the perfect class to accomplish that, as well as pushing me to plan my anniversary trip to France. I swear I saw Matt quickly pass in front of the camera.
And finally, your favorite unstackable, it is a ride.
It is, and it was a 30-minute 90s rock ride that was taught by Emma Lovewell from June 8th. And Christy Smalley nominated this ride. She said it was fantastic. She found it way more challenging than the 7.6 rating, but maybe that's because she was tired. It had a killer playlist.
I guess now let's take a look at this week at Peloton. We've got dance cardio with Leanne.
We do, yeah. This is the first time she's either added classes or had them. I thought she had done one before, but it is here. It is happening. So she's been talking about a new project, and this is it. The classes are going to launch today on June 11th, so by the time you hear this, they will be out. And they are... I mean, if you like dance cardio, they're lots of fun. You know, these are not classes for me. But she has a background in dance and theater, so they're perfect. She's a perfect teacher for them. And people who enjoy these things, that's great. I am not that person. I'm not coordinating.
One time on Tonal, I accidentally did something that had dance cardio, and I just felt like an idiot.
I tried. I really tried when these first came out, and as it turns out, I can't learn a dance routine in 30 seconds. I am terrible at it. Just terrible.
Isn't it funny the way your mind works? Like all the things I can memorize. I did a whole play that I basically had to learn in 4 weeks, the lead of a play. I got all those words crammed in my head, but movements I can't do.
But here's the thing. You can do it at your own pace when it's learning a play.
Yeah.
You can repeat it as often as you need to.
Yeah.
And when you're doing a class, whether it's online or in person, it's done. They move on to the next thing. I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
I will need about 8 more times of whatever it is before I'm ready to move to the next thing. And it doesn't matter how simple it is.
I have a lot more respect for those movies where they're like Broadway dancers auditioning for something like Chorus Line, and they're like, okay, here are the moves, blah, 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 blah.
And then
they're just doing it.
I
and
know.
I'm just like, that's pretty... I mean, I know Chorus Line, they've already learned the moves really.
Right.
But I do think those dancers can do that.
They can. We've seen it. Whenever Brian, we've watched rehearsals at his school. He's not as much of a dancer. That's not his chosen profession.
But they'll be like, do a twist, do this, kick your leg.
Boom, they got it. They
do
got
a cha-cha, and you're good.
It's crazy. Super talented.
So in honor of our vacation, Maddie Giacomo did a 30-minute Disney walk.
You think it was just because of our vacation?
I cannot come up with one other plausible explanation.
Well, he did. It was a 30-minute Disney walk. It took place on June 10th. And, it's Maddie and it's Disney. What more do you need to know?
Yeah.
Take the class.
We have a 30-minute hit after hit outdoor run, but one of those hits has 2 eyes.
Yes, that is correct.
It's a play on words.
And we've talked about this is the newest kind of version of classes that Peloton has come out with. So it's hit, and then you get high intensity intervals, but you also get hit music at the same time. So it's
you get hills?
This is a 30-minute outdoor run, like you said, and it dropped today, so it's out there. But it's a fun 2-for-1. It's Kirsten and Bex. Never seen that team before.
Yeah,
I like all these 2-for-1s they got going on. So that's a lot of fun.
So some other classes that you might want to have on your radar: British Summerfest.
Yeah, so it's going to be new Move as One class. They're going to have Ben, Sam, Bradley, Hannah, and Leanne all coming together for one class. That's fun.
Yeah, people love when you get the team ups.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like Super Friends. We also have a whole host of Father's Day classes.
They do, yeah. So all this weekend coming up, we've got a row with Katie, a run with Alex K, a run with Adrian, a walk plus run with Olivia, and a ride with Allie. And that's just on the live schedule. Who knows what we're going to get that's going to drop on demand.
Yeah. Christian Vandevelde is returning to PSNY this week.
He is. He's got another 45-minute real route, Las Palmas, and then a 45-minute pro cyclist threshold training ride. So those are going to be coming up this week, and I believe they're both live because those are studio pictures.
And the Outdoor Run Club continues.
It does. This week is going to be a 30-minute run with Adrian. It's going to be taught by Adrian.
Also, Juneteenth is just around the corner, and there's all sorts of classes to celebrate that.
Yeah, and there's a ton of them. There's going to be encore classes from Marcel, Ash, and Chelsea, but there's also going to be some on-demand that's going to be from Alex and Tunde together. They were recording a special surprise a couple of weeks ago, so we gotta assume
I recall
that is what this is. And I want to say that is all for. I think there were some live classes too, though. Nope, they all say encore, so nothing dropping live. These are encore. And I don't know why they don't call them premieres, because they're really just going to drop on demand. I feel like somebody just is really not good with labeling things anymore over there. But I think these are new classes that are just dropping on demand.
Gotcha.
Could be wrong. I don't know. Who knows?
And finally, Benny Adami has the first German sing-along ride.
Yeah, this is fabulous because Jen Sherman has had epic sing-along rides forever. Well, this is the first German one that we've had, and Benny is going to be leading the.
So the songs will be in German?
I don't know that part.
I was a German sing-along ride. I don't think of the songs.
Well, I mean, he teaches in German. That doesn't mean the songs will be in German. There's a great chance they will be.
Yeah.
But Benny listens to all kinds of music and plays all kinds of music in his classes, so not necessarily.
I'm like, if it's not Du Hast or 99 Luftballons, I don't think I could sing along.
That's okay. They've got subtitles. Just don't take it live. You can still do it.
And finally, we've got one birthday this week, Jocelyn Thompson Rule, and her birthday is on June 15th.
Well, happy birthday to Jocelyn.
Happy birthday. So that's it for this one. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe, and they can find me on Threads and Instagram and Blue Sky, and of course, the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal. And
you can find me on Threads and Blue Sky at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/The Clip Out, $5 a month. All sorts of bonus content, early episodes, ad-free episodes. It's all there for you. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling.
And running.
And running.
Bye.